WNBC. Back with another.
We'll do it live.
Right.
We'll do it live.
Back here at 103.1 Jams with the loose cannon of comedy, Jeff Lampton. Jeff fucking Lampton.
Are we going?
We're going.
man.
All right.
That was the most embarrassing, shitty, dumb intro we've ever done for this, but we're going. I was just picturing you like doing the radio morning zoo tour and shit as a comedian.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see where. So am I supposed to? Well, then maybe we should have done this at like 6 a.m.
It doesn't matter. We'll release it at 6 a.m.
All right.
People get the experience.
All
right. This is another episode of Hard Out, my favorite movie, and we are here with none other than the aforementioned Jeff Lampton to talk about his all-time favorite flick, which is...
Today we'll be talking about The Dirt. I do want to preface that with you sent me a message saying
I know.
you got like 5 seconds to tell me your favorite movie or you're out of my life. So I just rattled off all my favorite movies and you said, nope, Goodfellas no good on that one. And I know you guys are already talking about Good Will Hunting before. So
We haven't, but we do have.
Here's the thing. No one else is going to pick The Dirt.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. So, and I forgot to put Leaving Las Vegas on that list.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
With that and
Man.
Spaceballs.
What you're doing there is pretty appropriate. Leaving Las Vegas, man. Just drinking yourself to death in a tub and fucking... Where are you right now? On the road somewhere?
I'm in Horse Cave, Kentucky.
Horse Cape, Kentucky.
Right.
Cave, yeah.
Horse Cave? Oh, even
Yeah.
better. Some
Actually,
McCarthy shit.
Really cool little town. I was hanging out at the kangaroo zoo yesterday, feeding and petting all the kangaroos and emus, and it's a really cool little town, actually.
So what are you doing? Is this like a day job thing you're there for? Because you haven't been doing comedy lately, or what the fuck's
Or
going
you just
on?
go for the kangaroos.
Yeah, I just ended up here by chance this weekend. I was going to move down here this winter, but it didn't work out. And just by chance, I ended up here for the weekend. So it was fate. Fate said, you're going to be in Horse Cave, Kentucky for New Year's. So
That sounds like a Tom Waits song or some shit. Like, that's
it's
amazing.
creepy the way it, and you know how I'm always looking for shit with my son's name on it.
Yep.
For years, I was looking in gas stations and shit, never find anything. And then all of a sudden, the universe puts me in Horse Cave, Kentucky on New Year's, where I wanted to be in August. And at the kangaroo zoo, I found shit with my son's name on it.
Crazy.
Yeah, but they didn't have the shit. They just had the slot with his names on it. But that was the first fucking time in years that I found anything in a store, a truck stop, or anything that had a slot for his name.
Crazy.
So,
Kismet.
what has been going on with you guys?
Dude, we just been finishing up this Cactus Jack movie, which, by the way, if you stick around after this episode, a trailer will run. And if you go to cactusjackfilm.com, you can get information on the film, trailer, fucking ticket shit, pre-ordered, all that bullshit.
Is that the trailer you already released, or?
Yeah, that's the trailer
Yeah.
we released.
So when is this movie coming out?
January 20th is a virtual premiere. So inauguration night, if you don't want to watch this political bullshit, check out our virtual premiere. You can watch the film. It's streaming for 24 hours. It's followed by a Q&A with ourselves, Michael Gall, who
I
we
will
know you
definitely
through.
tune in, but I'm gonna, if I'm available, I want to try watching that Trump virtual reality, because I think that might be some of the best laughs that this country has had in years.
I know. I'm thinking maybe doing this inauguration night wasn't the best idea. Trump's going to fucking steal our ratings like he does to everyone. But then the 22nd, the film actually comes out. You could download it, whatever. But if you download it right now, it's on pre-order. You get it for $5 instead of $8.
Oh, sweet.
So,
Well, I'm gonna wait to get it for the 8, so you guys get the full money, because you put so
yeah.
much fucking
True
time and
fan.
effort into this.
well, you're in it.
Yeah.
The bigger role you had, unfortunately, we had to Terrence Malick out, but you're in it for at least a second or two.
I think what you sent me, a rough cop, was only like 20, 30 seconds anyway.
Yeah, I don't think that's in it anymore.
It's probably for the best. The the less of my ugly ass in anything, no matter what it happens to be, the better for everybody involved. So.
Disagree. That's why this episode's going to be the shit as we talk about the Mötley Crüe film, The Dirt, with the biggest Mötley Crüe fan I ever fucking met. I don't know anyone else who likes Mötley Crüe as much as you. I remember we did an episode of the Holy Clowns podcast with, it was me and Michael Gall. We had you on, and he basically sabotaged you and ambushed you to give you shit about Crüe the whole time. But I don't begrudge anyone being a fucking massive fan of whatever the fuck turns them on.
Right. Yeah, no, I think he was more just being a cranky old fucking.
Oh yeah, that's what he does.
You know, he liked Mötley Crüe at one point, and he's probably just more jealous.
He's just ball busting.
Yeah, just trying to.
We roast the ones we love.
Yeah, and that I mean, it really did take me by surprise, and I was really sick and not well that day, so I couldn't really come out fighting, you know.
When I was
go ahead, Chris. No, go ahead.
When I was in high school, I hung out with like the rock crowd, you know, leather jackets, long hair, into, you know, Black Sabbath, Metallica, some Megadeth, stuff like that. But not much Mötley Crüe didn't get represented much. There were a couple kids in the school that were like the Mötley Crüe enthusiasts, and they were like almost like the Columbine kids of this school. They were like the Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold of the school. This is in Georgia. Like,
yeah, this is Bible Belt. The Warner Robins,
Bible Belt, Georgia.
You'd think the Black Sabbath fans would be more like the Columbine kids.
You'd think.
So who are your favorite
no,
bands?
They were pretty wild. These dudes, they scared me.
Well, let's say this real quick. This is stupid that humans do this, but they do this shit all the time where it's like, do you like the Beatles or the Stones? And shit, and you have to like pick these teams. And I feel like GNR and the Crüe became the teams. And Chris and I are both total more GNR snobs than Crüe fans.
I remember you telling me that
I don't know if
it's the podcast.
I just always felt like more artistry type shit, and maybe we're more pretentious and into that kind of shit from GNR. I don't know.
Well, you know, it's just like anything else. The sweep opened the way for bands like Mötley Crüe. Mötley Crüe opened the door for Guns N' Roses.
Right.
Guns N' Roses. Wait till that fucking movie comes out about Guns N' Roses or Ozzy's movie. If they
Jay and I pitched a show real casually, just like in meet and greets at first, that was called Sticks and Stones, and it was like a Guns N' Roses parallel on Sunset Strip, following this band as they form, and, you know, the members like change out and all that stuff, like what happened with LA Guns and all that. And we actually were sent copies of The Dirt, the book, by Johnny Depp's production company, because, you know, he's really, of course, into rock and roll with Hollywood Vampires and all that shit.
I think he's like the only one we really even pitched it to, because we were like, he owns the Viper Room, we Sunset Strip and shit.
Yeah. But so they sent us the books to read so we could start the conversation going and use that as a reference and everything. But then as that was happening, HBO announced that Scorsese and Mick Jagger were working on a show that was set in like you know, bands developing in, you know, in that scene, but it was in the 70s, it wasn't exactly the same.
Man, this is how Hollywood was. It's like, if it's anything, but because of that, rock bands,
it was like too close, so they abandoned.
Well, check this out.
Forward with this,
I just found this in my copy of the book. This is the letter from Johnny Depp's company, right? Nice. And it's like, when we went in and we pitched this shit like an epic Shakespearean rise and fall, 5 seasons as they go from playing nothing to making it to the Strip to stadium tours in Tokyo, Japan and shit. And then by the end of it, they're all just broken and busted and shattered. And, you know, there will be blood with Rock Band and shit, basically.
So are you going to try to base it almost all off of Guns N' Roses story, or are you going to throw everything?
We're doing an amalgamation.
Sort of thing. Yeah. Like, you know how Sopranos did their treatment of the mafia world. They were all fictional characters, but they borrowed from other real stories.
Yeah. So we could do this epic, crazy show. And then the guy in the room, he was like, yeah, we've been talking to Doc McGee a lot and stuff. We're kind of tight with him. So what if we do the show like more from the manager's point of view and all that? And we're like, fuck the manager.
We were like, it's the lead singer and the guitarist clashing, you know, the egos.
Fuck man. The manager. Really the manager's just the character gets in the way and shit.
It's about the band, not fucking Doc McGee and fucking Doug Taylor. The fucking
cat herders.
Thank you. And then, so then
that's what. go ahead.
Well, the Terrence Winter show that Scorsese and Mick Jagger did was vinyl, and that's what the fuck they did. It's like the executive
that approach.
Hollywood always has to make it about themselves. These
And it
executives are like, make it about the executive. Fuck you. No one cares about the executive. If I make a movie about a baseball team, you want me to make it about the manager and shit? Shut up.
Well, they usually do make the movies about the managers of sports teams.
Kinda. Oh, look at Bull Durham. If it was about the manager instead of fucking Crash Davis and Nuke LaLoosh and shit, get out of here. So, him watching them trying to wrangle cats or herd cats, like Chris said.
You certainly could use that as one window into it. You know, I mean, to be an ensemble sort of thing.
Yeah, well, give him his own episode. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, you see what he has to deal with from his perspective, etc. But
it'd be great.
Anyway, yeah, that's.
Well, here's the letter though. It's funny. He says, the game plan right now is for them to read and see if they spark to the world, then come up with a plan for the show. First off, if we spark to the world, we pitched you this shit, motherfucker.
It was already, you know.
So they're like making it sound like it's their idea. And then he says, right now, we see this as a 1 hour set against the backdrop of Los Angeles metal scene circa 85 to 90 that follows a music manager as he negotiates his life and the lives of the rock and roll clients. We loosely, very loosely, see this as a mix of Mad Men and Californication. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
We just never even pursued it. We didn't do shit with it. We're like
getting distilled.
I've never seen an episode of Californication.
I heard it's good, but
I think I started the pilot once. Okay, it didn't grab me, but
I think they mean sex and drugs and shit. That's the Californication for them.
Yeah, I heard the rundown, and seen a clip here and there, but as I get older, it's getting harder to watch movies and TV shows.
Yeah,
like I can watch documentaries all day long.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
I can read books.
Make them up says.
Well, let's ask about that. Let's talk about The Dirt, though.
Okay.
Should this have been a documentary?
No, because there's so many flat out documentaries out there.
Yeah, yeah, they probably already have that version.
There's something to be said
Obviously,
for the
got
dramatization.
Behind the music.
Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think both should exist, both forms for sure. Why not have both, manifestations? But the behind the scenes, VH1 or behind the music rather, that series, those were great. And yeah, I try and watch documentaries like the Metallica one and stuff. The behind the scenes. What was this? Was that something? Monster.
They got Through the Never, and then they got like the making of
they've got a few, right?
Album,
yeah, I love that stuff though. That I don't watch enough of it, but
did you see the documentary of Lars taking a shit?
No.
2-hour movie.
I was just about to make the same joke, but I was going to use piss. Hilarious, dude.
Hilarious.
Fucking hilarious. I should be a stand-up comedian. I could be on the road right now in Horse Cave, fucking Kentucky.
But.
I don't know when you read the book, but obviously I bought the book the day it came out in 1999. I think it was like June 1st, maybe something along that lines. And you're going to probably fact check that.
No, I'm just curious.
Yeah, so am I. I think it was around June 1st, 99. But I remember that Six was promoting that they already had a script made and they were going to turn it into a movie. And it just, every time
Development hell, dude. Development hell.
Exactly. And then he finally, put on Facebook or some shit like, we got a director, Jeff Tremaine. And I'm thinking, wow, that's going to be a weird pairing.
Yeah, because he was known for like Jackass movies and shit, right? And Jackass episodes.
Yeah, but I think he did a fucking tremendous job.
Yeah, the book, it says in this first paperback edition, which this is 2002. I don't know if it came out, I imagine hardcover first. I don't know when.
Yeah, but, hardcover.
The first time I read it I was just looking at the date on this letter we had from Depp's company was 2012. We were still with our first agent and shit. Fucking
so
did
the
nothing
book was
for us.
At least a decade old before you even read it.
Yeah, and again, like I said, always the Crüe wasn't my thing necessarily. Respected them, but I wasn't like I gotta read the Crüe biography and shit,
Even for people who are not Mötley Crüe fans, people who love stories of the fucking sex, drugs, and rock and roll, people who love to get inside the heads of people who are a bit twisted and just want to look into human nature, the fucking Dirt's an excellent book to read.
Dude, it's an amazing book. When I read it, I was like, holy shit.
it's amazing how much couldn't make it into the movie.
Right.
Know? And
Yeah,
a lot of
it all.
Yeah, they had to condense it. A lot of it was cut out because there was NDAs with like Pam Anderson and Donna D'Errico and shit like that. And then
Oh, it's got to be the
time.
chicks.
Yeah, all the divorces. So
right.
And then like I'm a member of like a couple Mötley Crüe fan pages on Facebook, and everybody was bitching about, oh, they got this fact inaccurate and this didn't happen, and there's
the spider eating or whatever.
Yeah, well, no, I mean,
snorted, right?
Technical inconsistencies that were done obviously because they needed it for the time constraints, you know, and everybody's bitching about the same way they did with like Bohemian Rhapsody and every other biopic.
Sure.
When you do that, you have to dramatize and combine scenes into one scene and shit. You know, like Ozzy might have done things over several days, but we're like, we got to make him piss, lick the piss, snort the ants and shit all at once, you know? And
the whole snorting the ants and licking the piss is up for debate.
Right,
Jakey Lee says
I think one person said it was a spider and not ants or something, and someone else said it didn't happen at all. And
and look at it. It's not a documentary. If you look at Oliver Stone, when he made The Doors, he straight up said, I'm making a movie about the mythology of Jim Morrison and The Doors. It's not a fucking documentary.
I knew you were going to bring up that movie because I know you fucking love that. I don't know if you're a huge Doors fan, but I know you love that movie. So
I love The Doors. I'm a huge Doors fan, but more Jim fan. Always fucking love that dude. But and the Oliver Stone's the shit. That run Oliver Stone had from the mid 80s to the early 90s is probably unparalleled to me as a fucking filmmaker.
How do you think The Dirt would have been if Oliver Stone did it?
If he did it back in the day, versus now, if he did it now, it'd be a little toothless probably, unfortunately. But I was surprised how much teeth it had. Just with it being on Netflix when it opened with titties and he's fucking left and right. And, you know, I was like, all right, Netflix. It had a squirting scene. It was like the cold open.
No shit.
I think. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I'm a little foggy on it. I watched it when it came out, but I haven't seen it since. Jay just watched it like last night in preparation for this, but it kind of came up fast to me. I would have liked to, but so yeah, I'm not going to be able to speak as specifically on all the scenes as you guys might. But
do you remember how you felt when you saw it though? Were you surprised that?
Yeah, the squirting scene for sure. Like that for that to be the opening.
Like, all right, let's take this ride, dudes.
Yeah.
And having read the book, I knew there was shit like I was just dreading when the Skylar shit came into it, just especially now that I have a kid. I didn't have a kid when I read the book.
Right.
Now I got a 7-year-old son.
That did hit hard. I remember that.
Yeah, that definitely did hit hard.
For people who don't know, Vince Neil's 4-year-old daughter died from fucking cancer. And this is after he had already killed somebody in a car wreck and been through the ups and downs and the bands and all that shit. And he had to have a 4-year-old kid die. Ugh.
That was one of the things in the movie that had to be consolidated and isn't exactly the timeline is off because in the movie they show that him and Cherise is pregnant during the Theater of Pain tour the night of Vince's accident. She's pregnant with Skylar, and Skylar died in like 96, 97. So and Theater of Pain was 85, so they had to do a little of that.
Right.
That little girl was.
But that's what you're doing with a movie. You're telling. I know, dude. That's fucking awful.
And I did a project, rockumentary, cable access rockumentary, with Vince not too long after his daughter died. We were supposed to. We had all the credentials. We got all of the band members interviewed, the guys from the road crew, Slaughter, and then Vince walked off stage that night in a huff because somebody threw a fucking cup at him. So he pulled his usual bullshit of throwing the mic down and said, I'm fucking out of here. So we never got the interview with him. So that we had to scrap everything.
That's almost perfect though. It's like, that's the band in a nutshell. Like you said,
that's
like you always did. Like that's our interviews. He ain't there.
Yeah, I should have went with it. But when I was talking to his manager before we set it up, and then I talked to his manager afterwards, he said straight out that Vince was having a really hard time coping still. So I didn't really want to be a fucking dick.
Sure. Exactly.
You know?
That's cool.
That shit's brutal. I mean, their whole lives, it is that live fast. I mean, not die young. None of them fucking died, but people did die.
Nicky died, yeah.
I'll tell you, he got his Pulp Fiction moment in the movie.
Right. And that too. I mean, like today, that would be nothing because they got Narcan and people. I know people who are dying at least once a week. They've got at least 12 technical deaths under their belt, and they're being brought back with Narcan. But back in the mid '80s, there wasn't Narcan, and if you already turned blue, you were gone.
Think of how bad our epidemic would be right now, opioid crisis, without Narcan and shit.
Oh,
because it's already an epidemic of deaths. Without that shit, it'd be a fucking plague, dude, a true plague.
And yet there's shitbags out there complaining that Narcan is being administered to these people as if they don't deserve the chance.
Right.
You know,
they're
like,
fucking
fuck
junkies,
you.
let them die. Fuck you, dude, die.
No choice. It's not a disease. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
But
can you talk about the first time you saw The Dirt? Obviously, it was just like a year ago because it's new. So it's not like a lot of movies we have guests on the show. We're like, do you remember the first time you saw it? And they're like, man, I was 7. My dad took me to the fucking movies or whatever. But do you remember the first time you heard Crüe? Like, when did your love affair with Crüe begin?
I think when I was about 7 or 8, I saw the Livewire video. And
I picture my 7-year-old son seeing that shit and just like, yeah.
That's exactly how I was, man.
Yes.
I just looked at him and the fucking 6 was attacking that bass, and you could, even my little 7-year-old fucking, back then I wasn't fat yet, but even my pre-fat fuck self, you could see the fucking anger at 7 years old on that fucking basis, and he was just taking that shit out on that fucking bass, and everybody else was just taking out every fucking part of their aggression. I'm like, oh fuck yeah.
Were you angry at that age? Were you responding to something because of that? Like, was it?
Yeah, I think I was born angry. I try to manifest it in different ways, but I got there's a part of in my soul that's going to be eternally fucking angry. And
so you think like you have some genetic predisposition toward it, or?
I don't know if it's like genetic or if it was, nature versus nurture, but
yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
I mean, some of it could be, fucking nature, but I mean, as I grew up, all the shit that I saw and all the things that I was a part of, just my anger continued to fucking rise, and it still does to this day. But I just take it out in different ways. Is
that still something you like about Mötley Crüe? Like, do you still feel that catharsis and shit when you listen to them or see them or some shit? Or is it now more of a nostalgia thing and they feel like a safe place and shit?
It's a combination because, as musicians and as a band, they continue to grow, People always say, well, they're not.
I wish Gall was here. He'd be like, no, fucking bro. They're doing the same 3 chords.
Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be.
That's their fucking problem. They're fucking teenagers.
Nicky never said that he was the best musician or the best songwriter. He just said he wanted to write awesome fucking songs and connect with fucking angry kids. That was his fucking goal. He accomplished it, but you can see the evolution of them spiritually and as human beings and musically.
Maybe that's it. When I talk about my high school peers and how it was the angry kids who were the Mötley Crüe fans, and meanwhile, I think like the Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin we were the depressed ones. Yeah, like they were angry, we were depressed.
You were theater kids, they were vandals and shit.
Exactly, pretty much, yeah.
In my school, all the Zeppelin fans were stoners, but
yeah,
I think you guys are a little. Chris, you're probably older than me.
I'm 47.
Oh, well, you're just a year older than me. A year or two. I can't remember if I'm 40. I think I'm 46.
I've done that at times in my life.
Same.
Forgot how old I am. Like, what the fuck?
I'm not even 100% on the 47, but I think that's right.
Who cares?
Yeah. Well, fuck, most of the time I don't even know what day it is anymore.
We're all in our mid-40s, so we all came from around the same area.
That's all that fucking counts. We know what decade we were born.
But when you mentioned being
angry
7
white
years,
boys.
When you mentioned being 7 years old, and I think about that age, the music I was keying into was Michael Jackson out and stuff yet? I mean, I think it was more like pop, Springsteen, Cyndi Lauper. I had a huge crush on her.
Which is hilarious because in this movie, Razzle or whatever is like, or Vince Neil is telling Razzle during the car crash, You gotta choose. Who would you rather fuck, Cyndi Lauper or Boy George?
Right.
He's like, well, it's gotta be Cyndi Lauper, right? She's got the parts, the plumbing at least. And he's like, wait, Boy George is probably pretty experienced.
Yeah.
A car crash in the middle of it.
Did you see Cyndi Lauper's performance for New Year's the other night? Like,
no, was she good?
Nights ago, supposedly. Well, I saw like a 30-second clip, and it was all over. Like it was. I don't think it went very well.
She's a fucking goat. I don't care. She's a legend.
She's amazing. I mean, just watch the We Are the World bit when she shows how
she's a whole different creature,
handles
man.
it and stuff.
You know, here's something that's kind of fucked up because I forgot what we were talking about already. So I'll just change the subject.
Sure.
Dude, that shit don't matter.
Don't
matter.
I apologize.
I think we exhausted that one anyway. So go ahead.
There's
Boy George is your answer, right? So.
No, it was right before the Boy George car crash scene. We were talking about something, and I forgot what we were talking about. But
I think it was just the kind of music that we listened to at that age. Like when you said you latched.
Yeah, because he had said Cyndi Lauper, which is what jumped.
Yeah, and I was just talking about the contrast of.
Oh yeah, okay. I did want to add to that. Like I like Michael. I love all kinds of music. I love fucking. If it moves me emotionally, I don't care what it is.
Same.
I like it.
Genres.
But
if they molested or killed someone, I listen to it.
But it wasn't until like my teens where I started to get into the more like heavier rock type stuff, you know.
Yeah, I remember like Hall & Oates, the Rocky soundtrack, Survivor and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
my first album was Kenny Rogers' The Gambler.
Oh, dude, our grandmother used to. Yeah. See, that was the other thing. We lived basically with our mom and our grandmother, and our mom like Jackson Brown kind of shit, singer-songwriter stuff.
Brown. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And our grandmother played a lot of Kenny Rogers and Willie Nelson, shit like that.
Yeah, I had a lot of influence too, and from my older brother. I actually got my older brother into more music than he got me into.
Mm.
You know,
how old is he? Older than you? Is he?
Yeah, he's 4 years, 4.5 years older than me.
About the same difference as me and Jay then, yeah.
It's funny how music's almost like a family religion. Like you inherit this musical background, and then eventually you rebel against it in your teens by listening to whatever.
Yeah,
shit,
exactly. Because it's kind of funny that this is the subject too, because literally earlier today, I had remembered that. Well, our mom was saying that they're getting back. They were going through their old records, and like she took a picture of it and sent it to us and stuff. And it reminded me that I wanted to ask them to send me a list of all the songs they used to have on their mixtapes in the 80s in the Philippines when they would have company over, and we'd be in our rooms reading comics or falling asleep or whatever, and to revisit that stuff. But at the time, I wasn't into it as much because, you know, like you said, you rebel against what your parents are into. But
so what was on that list?
I have a new appreciation for it all, you know.
What was on that
list? Pop the list out, dude. It's pretty.
Yeah, I'll just rattle off the first few. Sure. I mean, it's a ton, though. I mean, we're talking like.
But dude, they had handwritten lists
100
of
songs
a party playlist for a reel-to-reel from like the fucking 80s, dude.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Old school. Just from the top of the list, Run to You, Bryan Adams. Boys of Summer, Don Henley. So we got Pat Benatar, The Cars, Springsteen, Dio, Scorpions, nice. Tom Petty.
I got kicked out of a Cars
Foreigner.
Really?
What's that?
Yeah, I snuck off to the concert. I got kicked out of I got in trouble at a Cars concert. I snuck out, lied to my parents, and I went to the concert. And I think I was in junior high, maybe 7th grade. I was stoned as fuck, and I was dancing on the chairs, and the security guards kept telling me to get up the chairs, stop dancing, but I just kept getting back up there. And
fuck
I had a lot of trouble.
Yes. Fuck the man! Rebellious 7th grade fucking Jeff Lampton. Man.
Hey, Cyndi Lauper's on this list, a couple spots.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm telling you,
Elton
Cyndi
John.
Lauper. Don't make fun of her, you fucking young people. She might be old and loopy,
right.
That bitch is awesome.
Yeah, like, well, the New Year's thing is kind of always a fuck up anyway. Like Mariah Carey last year, like she couldn't hear the music, and she just sat there like
2 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's just like, why even try that? Why bother, man? Just pre-record some shit.
Everybody has an off day at work. Nobody's going to be perfect. Right. People can go fuck themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so easy to sit
that wasn't meant to be a knock on her. I just wanted to point out that that's happening in the popular sphere.
Well, yeah, because people haven't even been talking about her recently, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, because people have no lives and they have nothing better to do. Shit on people that they don't know.
They don't create.
No. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
that's
Yep.
what I was going to say earlier about weird memories is that I don't know if you guys remember the overdose scene in The Dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dealer, who, as he was mixing in, there goes the piss. The dealer, as he was mixing up
Like
to
a
go,
standard.
oh fuck yeah, cheers guys. Let's do New Year's cheers.
Cheers.
That's what I was running to get was more booze. So,
What do you got, brandy?
cheers. Yep. Wine.
I'm drinking a bourbon old fashioned.
Nice. I got Bud Light Platinum.
Nice.
I drank through all the rest of my booze over the holidays, so I'm down to wine now.
Guinness.
I got more coming tomorrow, though. So.
Where the fuck was I? Oh yeah, okay.
Shit.
So the overdose scene when the dealer was fixing six, and he starts talking about he makes the comment about Walt Disney watching hookers shit underneath the the glass table. The fucking funny thing is that my mom always used to buy those Star newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
The gossip rag shit.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was one step above the Enquirer. It wasn't
Right.
as bad as the Enquirer.
Uh-huh.
And they always had these things.
Which made it not as good.
Yeah, right.
They're still entertainment.
I know,
know,
I'm just talking shit.
So, and they always had this page where they would tell shit. They would dish dirt on people, but they wouldn't say who it was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
And
love
they
that.
had a little
You have to
box
guess.
that they were talking about the screenwriter who, after he finished every script, he hired two hookers. He got under the glass table and masturbated while the hookers shit on the table.
That's amazing.
I remember reading that back in fucking like 1983 or 1980.
But it said screenwriter, and you're saying he said it was Disney, but this is like a common.
Yeah, so they just took that, and I think Kevin Smith
they were
made a
referencing
reference to that.
Who do you think it was?
Interesting.
I
Robert
don't
Town,
know.
fucking
I don't
Esther
know.
Real.
House. I don't know if
It might
Esther
have.
House.
Esther Haas.
It sounds like something Esther House would do. But it might not even have been a screenwriter. They might have been just using screenwriter to hide the fact that it was an actor or a producer.
Right.
I'm surprised in the
Tarantino.
80s anyone was talking about a screenwriter in the early 80s.
And that's why it might have been Esther House, because there weren't
He
too
was
many
the
high
most
profile.
notable.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hadn't sold Basic Instinct yet, but I think like Fist and shit like that he'd probably written. But
Yeah, he had already waged war against the union and all the
yeah,
directors.
exactly.
So he already had a bunch of
Hey,
enemies.
a drink to Joe Esterhaus in his battles with Mel Gibson
Fuck
and
yeah.
shit.
Have you ever
Fuck
read the
yeah.
accounts that he wrote the whole accounts of his dealings with Mel Gibson? It's fascinating.
Fucking
it's pretty
epic.
short. It's a
I
great
saw
read.
excerpts of it in like Rolling Stone and shit when it was first published. You know, and I read whatever I could find about him because I fucking admire him greatly.
This
You know?
Turkish walking stick fighting.
He's one of those.
stick.
He's one of those people that I too admire greatly, but I don't know if I want to be in the same room with. I don't know if I want to be in a room with him.
Most of my heroes are like that. I don't know if I want to hang out with Jim and shit. Like
exactly.
You know,
Jim, maybe.
Gordon Ramsay. You know, there's so many people out there
I've
that are
met almost
awesome, but
all
I
my
just don't want to be anywhere
heroes,
near.
so.
Oh well, they say you should never meet your heroes. You got
Right?
any stories
You
that
get to
speak to
see-
that?
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you look at your hero as a human, it's fine. Because
Right,
you're just a millionth person coming up to them that week and shit. Of course.
Half of our heroes are our heroes because they're so flawed. Bukowski, etc. I'd expect him to
Mel
be a piece of
Gibson.
shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Exactly. Well,
Like that's
I mean,
partly why they're my heroes, because they're pieces of shit.
Right.
well, but the thing is that they're not pieces of shit.
Nah,
Right. They're humans.
They're humans.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, there's
exactly.
some-
That's the
Well,
real.
wait. I think
You were
humans are pieces of shit, so they are pieces of shit
Right.
because they're
Right.
humans.
yeah,
Right.
heroes and non.
Yeah, so let's not get the shit twisted.
Right. But
suck.
did you have any good stories of never meet your heroes? Like any examples of like where you were hugely disappointed or
Oh wow!
Or did you just always disappoint them?
you don't have to name names if you don't want.
I
but
just had a dream
I would
that
prefer you
somebody
to.
asked me that exact same question,
funny.
and I was
Deja vu.
telling them the story.
Was it a sexy bald man who's
The gods
47
No, it
years
was
old?
actually David
Preparing
Baldacci
you for this
asked me the
podcast.
question.
What was that?
David Baldacci asked me the question. Apparently, I was having dinner with David Baldacci. and
Who is
he
that?
asked-
The name escapes me.
It rings
He's
a bell.
an author.
Oh.
He wrote like the Memory Man series. He's got like.
Oh yeah. I've seen his. All
belt.
right. I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, he asked me, and I told him the one that was. There's two that are really disappointing, and one that I was actually involved with creating a national rumor about. The first shitty one was Stephen Piercy. You guys didn't grow up in the 80s in Milwaukee, so you probably don't know what a place called T.A. Vern's is. But
No.
they had all the rock clubs back then, and we couldn't go into them because we were underage. So we would either sneak into those clubs and once I got to a point, I'm like, you know what? Why am I sneaking in? I'm just going to go and work and fucking I'll just go in and fucking do stage work and roadie shit. You know, I'll make a few bucks. I'll get a free ticket to the show and I'll get free beer.
Yeah.
You know, that's a fucking great deal for a 16-year-old, you know?
Totally.
Love it.
So
that'd be a great show. I feel like they did that, didn't they?
Cameron Crowe did some fucking
movie.
We bought a zoo-toned roadie show, I think.
Oh, we need the dirty.
I know that's the thing they get wrong.
Roadies
Anyway.
TV show. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. Well,
I guarantee Cameron Crowe didn't have a squirting scene to open it. Sorry,
Cameron Crowe, that was Almost Famous, wasn't it? Or was that a different?
No, he did a TV show for Showtime like a year or two ago called Roadies, but I think it's
it was a TV show.
Okay. Yeah, it was a Showtime show, which I haven't watched, but I remember seeing. I think I was watching part of the pilot. And I was
totally
like,
have
and I got the same sense about the tone.
I
had a crush on. So you were saying though you decided to work as a roadie to get into the bars, and this was going to lead to a story about who was it?
Yeah, the first one was Stephen Piercy from Rat.
From Rat.
From Rat. He was touring with his solo band Arcade at the time, and I called up my buddy who let me work at the club. And I said, I'm a big fucking Piercy fan. Can I come and fucking work the show? Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. So I get up there, and his road manager comes up to me and says, look, my right-hand guy, he's back at the hotel. He's sick as fuck. So you're going to have to take over all his duties today. I'm like, okay, no problem. So he's got me running around all over looking for shit. Steven wants chocolate milk. You need to do this. Doing all the personal grunt shit, you know?
Yeah.
So
the rider shit.
Take out all the brown M&Ms.
Yeah, exactly. And I was also doing lights. Not only did I help set up the stage, but I was doing the lights, and I was doing breakdown, and I was doing everything else. And the road manager's name, Mel, he asked me at the end of the show. I was also selling their merch for him too, because the guy who was sick also ran their merch table. And when I gave Mel all the money from the merch, he handed me a few bucks. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, but I don't really give a shit about getting paid. The only thing is, like, I got friends that are huge Piercy fans. If I could just get one autograph for my brother, to my brother, that's all I fucking care about. You can keep the money, dude. I go, that's solid, man. So he goes into the bus, and then he comes back out, and he goes, Steven won't do it.
Damn.
And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit, dude. That's all he had to do was scribble.
Guy might not have even asked him, though. You never know.
Who knows? That's true. You don't know the whole real story.
You are true. That is correct.
Yeah. He could have just been running interference.
Think about it. That guy probably has a bunch of people. He doesn't want to be going every day bugging him and getting shit, whatever. So I would not be surprised.
Never thought about that.
We should have just used a different excuse. Yeah. Rather than saying that he's a dick, you should have just meant he was sleeping or something.
Oh, this was like literally like soon after the show.
Right after, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he was fucking a chick and he
exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, kid. He's doing what you wish you'd be doing.
Yeah. He's snorting lines.
I never thought he could have at least if that was the case.
He's in his hot tub.
Grab the pace of yeah, the show is in Milwaukee, not Horse Cave, Kentucky. But the second show,
I'm jealous too, man. Hot tub sounds awesome right now.
Totally.
It feels fucking great, especially on an old man body like mine. God, it feels.
You are
good.
fully nude, right? For the record.
Did you want me to stand up?
Prove it.
See, I might dab for the first time in my life or shit. Like, no.
I've suddenly taken to heroin.
Like D Brown, the dunk contest. And shit.
So the second story involves Ace Frehley from Kiss.
Oh shit.
He was. I was doing regular roadie work for a local
You and Sal
band.
Governale fucking didn't Sal.
Got our Howard reference in. Love
yes.
It. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. So I was a regular roadie for a local band called Nasty Habit, and they opened up for Frehley.
Great band name.
And I was also doing the lights and all the shit for Fraley's show. And before Nasty Habits set, back in the day, I tended to drink a little, meaning I would be blackout drunk within 10 minutes of starting to drink, and then I would be so fucking drugged up I could keep drinking all night and not know what the fuck was going on. So I was a bit drunk, and me and the other roadie, Shaggy, we were side stage. Yeah, any story with a guy named Shaggy's
Nasty Habits, roadie Shaggy. I love it, dude.
So I was fucked up. I picked up Shaggy.
Song lyrics too.
Kind of like Ozzy did Randy Rhoads on the tribute CD. I picked up Shaggy. We were fucking around, and we were climbing on the amps, having fun, and we knocked over the fucking Marshalls.
Oh man, that's like knocking over a dude's bike or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of them crashed down on Ace's guitar. Fucking one of them crashed down on
guitar.
Ace's guitar. Yeah.
Fuck, that hurts.
Yeah, and
that's like a kick.
So when I made that joke, it wasn't so much your heroes disappointed you as you disappointed them.
Well, Fraley was never a hero of mine.
All right, gotcha.
I like Kiss, but I never looked up to him in that manner.
Sure.
But the next day, it was all over the radio, and it was in
a roadie fucking.
Yeah, no, it was in like the Metal Edge that month, and it was on the radio that Ace Frehley had fallen off the wagon and was trashing his equipment on stage.
It was
in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was actually my drunk fucking ass.
That's amazing.
That is
framed
beautiful.
Ace Frehley for
now you know
Ace
Ace.
and shit.
That's the only thing I'll ever be known for in this world. And
man, see on Twitter, I'm gonna tweet this episode at him.
I feel bad for Ace too because he's getting this reputation, and he's like, "What the fuck? I didn't fucking destroy my equipment."
That's hilarious.
He wasn't a dick that night, but he was kind of, I mean, at this point, it was like 90, probably 96, 97 at this point. He had seen everything, done everything, and he just wanted to go to his hotel, come do the show, and get the fuck out of there so he wouldn't be.
Well, and it's partly, too, what The Dirt is about. Not to fucking bring it back to the movie, that's our fucking subject, but Chris and I, with our show, we were doing the same thing. Where basically by the end of season 5, it's like maybe the last scene is one of them watching MTV and fucking Nirvana just comes on for like the 10th time that day, or Pearl Jam. How the grunge scene came in and basically killed the hair scene and the metal scene, essentially. That the Ace Frehleys and all these dudes in the 90s, mid-90s, they had already went through that where they're never going to get back to the heights they were.
Right.
So now it's like the retirement tour, essentially, which is kind of sad.
And it's better to die at 27, like join the 27 club. And
in the mid 90s, Ace Frehley rode that wave like 3 or 4 times. He just fucking crashed and burned like all those times.
It's got to be hard, dude. I mean, if we look at all these dudes as humans again,
absolutely.
It's like Icarus shit. They got too close to the sun. They got burned. The rest of their life is it's fucked.
Yeah.
So
except that they can still enjoy all the same comforts we all do, like, good food and things like that. Like it's like you can't achieve that height of greatness anymore. But I'm just saying, like, it would be in the interest of their well-being, though, to view it that way. You know what I'm saying? Rather than trying to achieve something that's probably just like a flash in the pan.
It's like we were eating sushi off a supermodel while drinking Dom Perignon. I can still drink wine. I can still go get sushi, but I mean, part of it is the chicks. Like the chicks dry up,
right?
Or they get older and shit.
Well, most of them get married and go have some divorces or stay with them, but it ends up becoming more of a family man situation, like Slash seems to be, and guys do,
well, see, and that's kind of the cool thing about The Dirt, the book, not the movie, because Six came out and said when Vince left the band and we did the solo tour and record with Karabi, grunge took over. And we went from being one of the biggest bands in the world to me and the guys from Skid Row were at a hotel in fucking Canada, and we were doing blow with strippers, and time was up. We didn't have enough money to pay the strippers, so the strippers left. That takes fucking balls for a rock star to fucking say, hey, we could.
That's the dirt. It's the real dirt, like Jack London talked about. The dirt, the truth,
That's probably what Jack London was having in mind.
It was. He said, don't give me the bullshit, give me the dirt, the real dirt, the truth. That's exactly what he wanted. He wants his rock stars to be confessional and tell about the fall, you know? That's the truth, man. These dudes can try and live that rock star life forever, but man, that's a peak. Like, I was looking when Nicky died in the movie and they had his years lived. He was like 29 when he had that OD. I'm like, that's it. Could you imagine me at 29 again? Whenever I watch movies like this, I just want to be young and skinny again. I get so fucking depressed.
I don't remember skinny.
Well, I had moments here and there.
Once I hit 9,
Skinny-ish.
Yeah, 8 years old, I started getting fat. There was no looking back.
You started drinking at 8.
No, I didn't start drinking until I was 11.
I'm sure you've done your share of drinking to the crew.
I've had a few drinks to the crew. I mean,
do you play music? Are you a musician?
Yeah, I play guitar. I play guitar, bass, drums, but mostly guitar.
Cool.
I could, like right now, I don't play the way I used to. I would be able to pick up the guitar and play any fucking Mötley Crüe song that you named, and shitload of Metallica, Randy Rhoads, and other Ozzy songs. But yeah, I fucking love music, man.
Real talk. Do you think rock and roll is dead?
No.
All right.
No.
Now
rock
is
and
that
roll, not to sound like fucking Ozzy, but you can't fucking kill rock and roll, man.
Pretty good.
You're never gonna kill rock and roll, because rock and roll is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. There's always gonna be fucking sex. There's always gonna be drugs, and there's always gonna be anger.
So all right, our rapper is rock and roll. Is Machine Gun Kelly himself rock and roll? Is rock just changed,
semantics.
or you know?
Yeah.
I only learned who Machine Gun Kelly was because of doing that podcast with you.
How great was he for this role? I thought it was awesome,
perfect.
He's great, dude.
Yeah,
I'll put that motherfucker in a movie.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was a treat.
I might have YouTubed a song of his after you told me, but I didn't pay attention. But
he had a rap battle with Eminem, right?
Yeah, and Eminem keeps coming at him, and he's basically like, "Leave me alone, Eminem."
Right? Yeah. Calm down, boomer.
He's like, "You just need me to be relevant, you old fuck. Shut up."
Right? No shit.
Isn't that Machine Gun dude like a big fan of Eminem?
Yeah, but then they started
cheek, like friendly, rivalry thing. Yeah,
I fucking love Eminem, man.
For sure.
I fucking love him.
Oh, speaking of Eminem, the guy who played Razzle,
the dude definitely kicks ass.
The dude who played Razzle in this movie, I was like, that motherfucker looks familiar to me for some reason. And man, I get caught in these wormholes on YouTube, and I remember watching a shitload of the British version of The Voice, and the dude who played Razzle in The Dirt was a contestant on The Voice. And I remember he did a sick song. It was a mashup of Come Together by the Beatles and Lose Yourself by Eminem. He did it on electric guitar.
That sounds familiar.
It went from the Come Together into the Lose Yourself. It's sick, dude. Check that shit out on YouTube.
Yeah,
I forget his name. Max something, maybe?
All right, yeah. I'm going to have to fucking look that up.
Pete Davidson was in this shit, which is hilarious.
Yeah, he did he looks nothing like Tom Zutaut. I've met Tom. He looks nothing like him. But he still fucking did a great job acting in the movie. He kind of gave a little bit of, the way he delivered his lines were funny. I loved how they would have the characters break the fourth wall, look into the camera, and kind of.
Yeah, because the book was all about that too, broken up point of views and shit.
Yeah, like Mick. Mick was always breaking that fourth wall and saying that shit never actually happened.
He was like the Greek chorus of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But and Davidson was doing that too.
Yes.
Like never have your girlfriends a Mötley Crüe.
Yes, they will fuck your woman.
Yeah. So I loved him in that.
That goes for if you're a member of Mötley Crüe. Don't leave your woman around a Mötley Crüe.
Exactly. Couldn't trust them with each other, which will be a great thing in Sticks and Stones.
I know, man. God damn it.
Well, that's.
I almost want to send Norm that and be like, remember this shit? Let's do the fucking band. But then I'm like, Hollywood TV development.
We'll just write the fictional memoir, and they can make a movie or
that would be cool. Fictional memoir.
All right, so you guys got Cactus Jack coming out in less than a month. What's next?
We have
a break podcast.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, we kind of fall in love with podcasting, man. I hope Cactus Jack supercharges this shit.
Just
I'll sit around and bullshit all day.
This shit, seriously. And we can still work on our occasional, film and stuff, but I like the idea.
Talk to hot ass men in bathtubs and shit.
I mean, what could be better?
So yeah,
we have so many fucking ideas though. I mean, that we, you know, either have taken to a certain point, like written a screenplay for, or you know, developed like at least the overall, you know,
so much
outline for and shit.
The question though is what road do we want to head down?
Yeah,
it's not like what story to tell or anything. It's like, do we want?
That's not a
pretty
problem.
sick of the Hollywood development shit.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to do something. Is it audio plays? Is it podcasting? Is it an indie film? Is it something that's outside of that whole arena of bullshit?
Well, with all due respect, Cactus Jack probably breaks the mold of Hollywood.
Oh yeah, whole movie's like
design.
a fuck Hollywood.
So you kind of accomplished that already, without a doubt.
I mean, now's the time for that. I mean, between just where it was headed anyway with the internet and the, you know, democratization of all of this, the technology and the access to your audience, and now with COVID and shit and accelerating all that, like, it's like just you can create your own content direct from the source now.
The problem is just marketing it. How do you find an audience, which we're struggling to do? This podcast. Man, we have people tell us all
but you
the
have to have the content out there.
We have 42 subscribers, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
we have been
having Jeff Lampton on your podcast. He could have fucking helped your cause.
Sorry,
skyrocket.
In a week we're gonna have 39 subscribers.
Right? Yeah, and only 3 people listen to this fucking podcast.
That's proof. You know exactly how many listened by how many subscribers we lost.
I'm gonna fucking message you next week to see how many you lost.
Nah, man, you're fucking a legend to me, dude. Like, you said you were sick that time you came in for the Holy Clowns podcast, and I thought it was that, and you had some heart thing recently, but also it was earlier in the morning, which I know you're probably more nocturnal like myself, and that was always rough for me too. But
at the time I was recovering from the heart attack. I had some other health issues going on. And I wasn't caffeinated, and I was a bit drugged up from.
Which was hilarious, though, because you're like the loose cannon of comedy, and you're like, "What's up, guys?"
What's loose is in like a loose wheel in the shopping cart, or a loose screw, right?
No, it was a loose use of the word comedy. That's all.
Technically, I was being the loose cannon of comedy that day because you were expecting my typical insane, over the top fucking self.
Honestly,
I fucking threw a wrench in that.
No, I like that about it. I remember telling Chris, I was like, it's weird. We just had Lampton on. It was kind of low energy, but it was really weird because you kept asking me about when I had cancer. You turned it around where you did some shit where the interviewee starts interviewing the interviewer and mostly asking me about having cancer and shit, which is like this is total downer, but that's how I like our shit to be anyway. Just, it goes where it goes organically.
Yeah, I actually remember listening to that episode. I was in Taiwan in a hotel, and just this, you know, as you guys did those episodes, I just listened to them as Jay sent them to me before, you know, you published anything, and I remember, really like that. I thought it was compelling. You know,
it was better than if you came in cracking one-liners and doing old bits and shit.
Yeah, I don't like doing. I mean, I usually I shy away from doing anything, but I'll do it with friends and with people who I fucking connect with, but otherwise I try to I really don't want to do shit, but
comedy, you mean?
Anything, you know.
I fucking hear that.
Dude,
I've been in probably like a dozen movies.
Fuck doing
and
drugs.
I haven't fucking, with the exception of one movie where I had a bigger role. It was it was a voiceover. You know,
but this fucking Prodigal Son, dude.
Yeah, and I was just kidding because actually doing things is exactly what is the best thing for your mental health, well-being, etc. Is to stay busy.
If you do your own things, but not if you're being
but that's the thing, right? Try and find a way to do it that is, you know, the most fluid and with the least headaches, and
it's just rewarding. When you said what's next for us, I'm like, I don't know, but it's not going to be some shit where like, why are we doing this? I'm sick of that.
So we learned a lot of that.
I like to turn I like to find out more about the people I'm with because I already know about me. I don't give a fuck about me. I want to know about you. You know.
Get your own fucking podcast from a bathtub. You should do every episode from a fucking bathtub, dude.
Dude, this is also the first episode of your podcast.
No, just wherever you are.
Yeah. From the tub, whatever tub you can. I do love that.
Tub time with fucking
Kevin Smith had a whole
tub time with Tubby.
You mentioned Kevin Smith earlier. I remember he had a thing where he was always taking selfies in the tub, but that's not exactly the same. But it did remind me of that.
That'd be hilarious, dude. How many ashes from that cigarette or those cigarettes are in your tub? You pretty good about that?
I got an ashtray right over here. I'm pretty good about that.
You're making me want to smoke a cigarette, though.
I know, dude. Every time I see someone smoke, I get jealous.
This is my last weekend smoking.
Stale ass one somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be quitting.
Just like last weekend.
Yeah,
weekend before.
No,
17th annual last weekend smoking.
Yeah. No, I'm
like Ozzy retaring.
I know I'm going to be able to do it this time. So once
what
this carton of
changed?
cigarettes is done, I was able to get the medication. Like when I had my heart attack, I got that medication, and it started to work really well. But my insurance only paid for half of it. You needed like two or three like programs, but my insurance only paid for a third of it.
Of course.
So by the time that shit ended, I was back to fucking chain smoking again. So I got the medication, and I can take it as I need it. And I just figured out the psychological tool that I need to quit.
What is
And
it?
now-
What?
Just
Is it
quit.
a personal thing? Or just quit?
Well, yeah, there's personal elements. I'm combining a lot of shit, but
Well, I'm just saying someone watching this might take some value from that. But
Yeah.
if it's something that'll only work for you, then
yeah, I don't know if it would
Right.
work for anybody else, but I can say what I'm
Yeah,
going to try.
that's
I
But
burn my dick with a cigarette every time I have one.
That'll do it.
that didn't make me quit. Trust me, it's happened.
Now it looks like
you do that for just wreck kicks.
I
dick,
do that.
my dick looks like Morgan Freeman now, but you're fucking,
I burn my dick to cover up the herpes, and that way,
Oh, yeah.
You just burn
No,
off the
it's-
sores.
yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
you're like, I'm not diseased. I'm just sadomasochist, baby. Come here.
After this carton is done, it's going to be a financial thing.
Yeah, because that is ridiculous waste
It
of
is.
money.
Yeah, I'm
right.
spending almost $200, $300 a month.
Insane.
That is ridiculous.
And since we know that is mostly taxes, then it does seem that actually that technique is working, apparently.
That-
I wonder how many people hate big government and paying taxes but smoke. I'm gonna say
That's
to them, if
part
you
of
want to
it.
say fuck the government, stop
Right,
smoking.
no shit.
It's part of
That's
the
probably
fucking
why they hate the
financial
government,
aspect.
because of the fucking taxes.
Why do I want to pay the government to get cancer? Fuck that.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
the other thing is that watching my dad suffer as he was dying, he quit a long time ago. He quit in the mid-90s, quit smoking. I forgot what age he was, probably, so it was in the mid-90s. He was probably about my age, early 40s when he quit. But he didn't have lung cancer, but he had a lung condition and a heart condition.
Mhm.
And for the first 3 years as he was dying, he was living the life the best he could, but he had the oxygen tank and he was exhausted and he was limited. But his last year especially was horrible to watch because he was a prisoner to the chair. He couldn't breathe. He was in pain. And if he wasn't locked in the house, he was locked in a hospital. And he had his mental faculties about him, knowing the end is coming, but not knowing when it's coming.
Oh, that's awful.
And that whole fucking psychological horror of that. And then watching the fact that, man, I can leave here and I can go walk down the block. I might be fat and winded, but I can still get up and walk down the block. My dad can't walk 3 feet.
God damn. Just emphysema type shit going on.
Yeah, so I'm also looking at it as like I kind of owe it
Yeah, he
to
better
my
not.
dad.
Oh, he's gone. You said now, right?
Yeah, he
It's like
died in
keep
August.
COVID away from him, but fuck, it wasn't COVID related, was it?
No. But the thing is, he told me when he started hitting the peak of the worst part of it, he told me straight out. He goes, it didn't matter if I quit smoking or not. And he goes, he made a joke and he said, don't even bother fucking quitting smoking because
The damage is done.
I like smoking, and I've been smoking since I was about 10 or 11 years old. So the damage is done. But then I think he was being a little facetious because almost a month for his death, he told me, he just looked at me and said, please quit smoking.
Yeah.
So-
he was become fatalistic probably.
Yeah.
It's that whatever phase of the 7 stages or whatever where you.
Yeah, you didn't quit when he
denial,
said,
sort
but
of.
now you're quitting. You're ready. It's a new year. Maybe that's part of it.
No, I don't do that New Year bullshit.
That shit does not work.
It's a fucking waste.
I know. I made a resolution many years ago to never again make a New Year's resolutions.
I'll do that.
No, he made one yesterday, the son of a bitch. Said he's gonna stop jerking off in church.
I can't even keep that resolution.
That's a hard one to keep, man.
It is, man. Especially when the priest keeps jerking you off. Do I get blamed for that if it's not my hand? It was the hand of God.
You're alone, right?
Yeah. Is it cool if I start filming now?
No, what do we get inside? Why are you here?
I just thought it was really interesting, that someone hasn't left their basement in 6 months, not even to use the bathroom. Is that true?
Why would I want to go out there? I got everything I need right here. That's what's wrong with most people. They're weak-willed pussies and parasites who buy into that whole "it takes a village" bullshit. You know how many aliases I've used calling into radio shows?
I've had it up to my goddamn gills with the systematic feminization of this country.
Army of sportsly one, Jim. Get your own damn show if you think you got that much to say.
You live in your mom's basement.
Kid! No! Fuck you! What's so special about my loser son?
You really do hate your own mother.
She's a woman. Why wouldn't I?
There's some disconnect there, and if I can find it, what is hate? Where does it come from? Where does it go?
You want to know what gender you are? Reach down the front of your fucking pants and chew fucking kite. Black Lives Matter. Do you call horses slaves? Liberal fucktard. Enough with the parades and the rainbow flags.
Dude, this guy's... it's like pure hate, man.
Want to see something really fucking cool?
This guy is a fucking animal. He's got himself on a leash. He's itching to get off that fucking leash. And he's gonna fucking kill some people.
What a fucking show.
Stop!
What do we hear?
Look at me! Look at me!
We're gonna help you show them the light. We're gonna change the world. This is Cactus Jack coming to you live from a studio audience.
To the man who calls himself Cactus Jack, we have watched as you have rocketed to infamy.
And you wonder why these cornered animals lash out. Pick a fucking side.
And now, we have watched as you have called for literal blood.
I know you're out there listening. It's buzzing in your ears, burrowing into your brain.
Do it.
Jack, you're gonna love this. I pulled that trigger on that motherfucker's head.
Your VPN will not shield you. The darknet will not hide you. You and your kind are finished.
You think I'm scared of you?
Come and fucking get me.
Might I be your neighbor? Neighbor?